Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And this is a follow-on. This is a follow-on from the live show. Why is it so loud? Why does music sound so loud? I hope it doesn't sound as loud in the recording. Okay, anyway, this is a follow-on from the live show yesterday. And I have a key point. It's very difficult to make your key points with so many people around. So many people want to get in. It makes for great entertainment, admittedly. But sometimes the key points get lost. But I think we hit upon a beautiful key point. The Fight Doctor brought up the question, which I don't understand why the question was brought up, but the question was brought up by the Fight Doctor. Who has the best singular win between out of Ruiz, Andreas the Punch Ruiz, and Anthony Olufemi Olansi Joshua? Which one of them has the best singular win? Now, most rational people said that Joshua's win over Wladimir Klitsko was the singularly best win, most impressive win. Others said it was Ruiz's win over Joshua. That was the singularly most impressive win on their careers. Okay, fine. Opinions like, you know what, that's fine. Okay, however, a very interesting point was made. The rebuttal that Joshua's win over Wladimir Klitsko was better than Ruiz's win over Anthony Joshua. The rebuttal to that by some was that, well, Wladimir Klitsko was old. He was older than when he fought Tyson Fury. So then that diminishes the win. That diminishes Joshua's win over Wladimir Klitsko. Okay, well, there's a couple of reasons why it doesn't diminish Joshua's win, and we will get into one of the prime ones right away. Okay, so let's kill the music and let's listen to this segment, which is very interesting. Okay.
I think you guys were saying, I could see your argument as well. I was just saying, on the night Ruiz beat Joshua, I just think, in my personal opinion, backed up by, I think, a lot of facts, that it was a better win. But if you talk about the better fighter, then yeah, you can make the argument. Klitsko obviously was a better fighter than Joshua, and I think Joshua knows deep down skill set. Klitsko was still a good fighter, even though he's coming off a loss. Apart from Fury,
so Joshua had no business losing to Ruiz in the first place. Real talk. Okay?
So what?
What do you?
It's the boxing game, bro.
Fight doctor. Let me ask you a question, fight doctor, real quick. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
I'm listening.
Okay. Who fought the better version of Holmes? Ray Mercer or Mike Tyson?
That's a difficult argument. You can actually argue that Ray Mercer fought the better version of Holmes.
Okay, so is there a possibility that Wladimir Klitsko was the better version versus AJ?
That's a good question.
Probably not.
I got you, fight doctor. I got you.
Yeah.
Probably
next. Yeah. That's why I'm 150 and 0. That's why I'm 150 and 0.
Fight doctor, you just had your foot chopped off.
Yeah, all right, so let's examine.
Okay, so that was the silver bullet. Which version of Larry Holmes was the better one? The one who fought, the 39-year-old who fought Mike Tyson in 1988? Or the Larry Holmes who fought Ray? Did I just say Mike Tyson? Yeah. So which one was it? Was it the 39-year-old version who fought Mike Tyson? Or was it the 43-year-old version of Larry Holmes who fought Ray Mercer? Which one was the best? Mike Tyson at 39 or Ray Mercer 4 years later at 43? And you see, right there, that was the silver bullet. That was the piece of education that leads us to a better understanding of the wins of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua over a common opponent in Wladimir Klitsko. Okay, so Wladimir Klitsko was what, 1.5 years older when he fought Anthony Joshua than when he fought Tyson Fury. So he was 1.5 years older. So people often use that to say, oh, it was an older Klitsko. It was an older Klitsko, which means a worse Klitsko. No, an older fighter does not automatically mean a worse fighter. We've seen from, who's a good example? We've seen today, even we've seen in boxing, fighters pull out wins they weren't expected to get, wins years after they were supposed to be past their prime. And Larry Holmes is an example. It was a better Larry Holmes that fought Ray Mercer, that beat Ray Mercer, than 4 years later, than was the Larry Holmes who lost to Mike Tyson 4 years earlier. So that's the silver bullet. That's the silver bullet which says that an older fighter doesn't automatically equate to a worse fighter. So the argument that Joshua beat Wladimir Klitsko was 1.5 years older doesn't really hold water. You see, Wladimir Klitsko had been in something like two training camps by the time he got to fight Anthony Joshua 1.5 years after he fought Tyson Fury. He was a more motivated Klitsko. He was a more determined Klitsko. He was a hungrier Klitsko. It was said by the top sports writers that this is the best Klitsko they had seen in years. It was called by some of the top sports writers and analysts the fight of the decade. So how you gonna tell me that a more motivated Klitsko, that a hungrier Klitsko, that a more ruthless Klitsko, angry Klitsko, how are you gonna tell me that Klitsko is worse than arguably a complacent Klitsko 18 months before? How you gonna tell me that? That argument doesn't make sense. That argument doesn't hold water, because obviously and clearly and logically, a hungrier, more determined, more motivated Klitsko 18 months later is a better Klitsko than a complacent Klitsko. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is where I rest my case.
Facts that it was a better win. But if you talk about the better fighter, then yeah, you can make the argument Klitsko obviously was a better fighter than Joshua. And I think Joshua knows deep down skill set. Klitsko was still a good fighter, even though he's coming off a loss. Apart from Fury.
So Joshua had no business losing to Ruiz in the first place. Real talk. Okay?
So what?
What do you?
It's the boxing game, bro. Fight doctor. Fight doctor. Let me ask you a question, fight doctor, real quick. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
I'm listening.
Okay. Who fought the better version of Holmes? Ray Mercer or Mike Tyson?
That's a difficult argument. You can actually argue that Ray Mercer fought the better version of Holmes.
Okay, so is there a possibility that Wladimir Klitsko was the better version versus AJ?
That's a good question.
Boom.
Probably not.
Boom. Boom.
I got you, Fight Doctor. I got you.
Yeah.
Next. That's why I'm 150 and 0. That's why I'm 150 and 0.
Fight Doctor, you just had your foot chopped off. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the Foot Chopper. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget to, don't forget what? I forgot one not to forget. Don't forget about the live shows. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And don't forget, it's the Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev fight later on tonight. We're going to be covering it right here on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. What time will we go live? I don't know, around 8:30. I think that's a safe time, around 8:30 p.m. tonight, UK time. Is there anything else to say? No. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to press that share button. It's the Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. And I'm out.